who's Randy? The Minister of Employment has a 50% stake in a PPE company embroiled in allegations of fraud. Text messages from the COO reveal that a partner named Randy was involved in one of those shady business deals. The minister assures us it's not him, yet somehow he's unable to identify who the other Randy is amongst a handful of employees. So again, who's Randy?
Here.
The Honourable...
Oh, come on, Randy can't get up and answer the question.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, of course, Canada has among the toughest, most stringent ethics and conflict of interest provisions in the world for public office holders. The minister in question appeared yesterday before committee for 1 hour and answered all of those questions.
The Honourable Member for St. Albert Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, there is no trace of this other Randy. Global News can't find him. The COO claims there is this other Randy, but conveniently has forgotten his last name. And the minister can't identify him among a handful of employees. This is a farce. Everyone knows who Randy is. Will the minister just stand up and admit it's him?
Here.
Yeah, because then that
The Honourable
there's a
Government House
conflict of
Leader.
interest.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
I'll remind it in French. Canada has one of the strictest ethical and conflict of interest codes in the world for public
Not
office
strict enough.
holders, and this
Not
minister
for you, Liberals.
answered for an hour to all of these questions, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
The NDP Liberal minister from Edmonton wants Canadians to think that he's not breaking the law, but he was cashing checks from a company that was lobbying his government, and a company that he owns 50% of was winning government contracts using his name. As a minister, he's not allowed to do either. Now, in a Global News report this week, text messages reveal someone named Randy at his company was part of a $500,000 fraud. The minister said it wasn't him, it was the other Randy. Of course it was. So, who is the other Randy, and what's his last name?
They won't let Randy talk.
Be careful in using the proper names of individuals in the chamber. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Speaker, I, of course, just answered that question, so I would invite the member to move on.
The Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Well, Speaker, we have the same suspicion as the Speaker does that, in fact, there is perhaps some concern about using the member's name. But, well, the Government House Leader wants to hide his member. We're just going to run through a scenario here. What are the chances that the other Randy is just the minister from Edmonton in a rubber nose and a stick-on mustache? I'd say about 100%. Broke the Conflict of Interest Act, broke the Lobbying Act, broke the Criminal Code. We want to know, will the real Randy please stand up?
Please stand.
Now, you know I'm stuck in the middle of this one. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Monsieur le Président, bien sûr que...
Mr. Speaker,
They're
of course,
shouting Randy.
That's enough. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for that. That is beneath the dignity of this place, where we presume all members are honourable. The member in question spent an hour at committee yesterday
I don't
answering
presume you're
questions
honourable.
from that
Nope, I
member and
don't.
other members. And of course, I know that the member will continue to ask those questions. I will give the same answer. We have a very strict code of conflict of interest and ethics in this country, and all ministers are expected to comply with that.
The Honourable Member for Terrebonne. The Auditor General yesterday confirmed what we've suspected for months. She tabled 3 reports with the same damning conclusion. The Liberals have completely lost control of the government machine. Contracts without calls for tender and without justification, payments made to companies before they had even delivered anything, funding for ineligible projects. There is absolutely no oversight of spending, and that brings us back to the question we've been asking for months. Whilst the Liberals are trying to govern Quebec and the provinces for them, who is governing the federal government? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to thank my colleague for giving me the opportunity to thank the Auditor General once again for her important work on this file and on a number of other files. We heard the Auditor General yesterday putting forward similar conclusions to the ones published by the government a year ago. Given all this information, we have been acting for the past years to put an end to tendering for Mackenzie. The Honourable Member for Beauport-Limoilou. The McKinsey case reveals a decadent culture at the federal level. The Auditor General confirms that one of the $200 million in contracts awarded to McKinsey, that of the $200 million, 71% were awarded without a call for tenders, 58% were awarded without oversight. For 24% of the contracts audited, the federal government did not even know whether the work had been done. This is scandalous. The report makes only one recommendation, that is that all federal organizations identify cases of conflict of interest, whether real or apparent. Will the government finally do it for real?
That's hilarious.
The Honourable Minister for Public Services and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Auditor General's recommendations are very similar and sometimes identical to those that were already published over the past few months. Important work has been done over the past year on the issues that my colleague has raised. What's important to note as well is that not only will we continue to do the work, but it's important to do so to ensure the integrity of all procurement process. The Honourable Member for Louis Saint Laurent. Mr. Speaker, another report from the Auditor General and another Liberal scandal. This time it has to do with the Green Fund. We learn that 196 times the administrators gave themselves subsidies. $123 million were inappropriately paid out. About half should never have been paid out in the first place. There's only one way to make the situation clear. Does the Minister agree with our proposal to have having an RCMP investigation? The Honourable Minister for Innovation. We have no lessons to learn from the Conservatives, that's for sure. We're very clear, Mr. Speaker. The second there were allegations made, we started our own investigations through Raymond Chabot, through McCarthy Thedrow. And you know, Mr. Speaker, this is an independent arm's-length organisation that was created by Parliament 20 years ago. But following allegations, we suspended funding. The head of the board of directors resigned. The head resigned. And now we have a new governance model, and the activities will be transferred. Mr. Speaker, we'll have the highest levels of governance, and it's exactly what we'll do.